As you can see, maybe you can't see, depending where you're listening, we have upgraded our studio. And when I talk about studio, I'm talking about my living room. We just moved to my living room. Pretty big production here. So Netflix, Disney Plus, Paramount, one of you guys just call me. Anyway, I have a thought that sometimes we don't find meaning to our life. And I think there is a lot of reasons behind it. But one of the reasons that I found, other than many of the obvious, it has to be social media. And for example, something that Peter McKinnon mentioned in one of his Instagram posts lately is that when you go to Instagram or TikTok, or I guess many of the social media, you start scrolling, and maybe you spend a lot of time there. Not maybe, for sure you do. And then you see how everybody's doing stuff, and a lot of people are part of this game that you are not, because you're just like on the screen watching what other people are doing. And then maybe sometimes unconsciously they feel that they're staying behind, or they don't have purpose on your life, or why a lot of people are doing things and I'm not doing anything. So many reasons behind. First, maybe you shouldn't compare to a lot of people. But one of the things that is interesting, and Peter McKinnon was mentioning, is like when you're, let's say, on Instagram or TikTok and you're scrolling, basically you are looking at everybody playing the game, but you're not part of it. Basically, you're just the one who consume all the stories and all the content. And that makes a little bit different because it's not as fun. You can see people having fun in all these TikToks and having fun in all these Instagrams, that sometimes we have to understand that what you see on social media is not the reality. It's people creating content. It's not all the time that people are actually living these lives. But yeah, he mentioned that things might be, in a way, more interesting if we are part of the game. And I know, and you're one of those, that you think that you don't have the personality, or you don't have, the je ne sais quoi about how to do content, like me doing now YouTube, or Peter McKinnon doing his awesome videos. And actually, you should hear his idea, because I think um, it's his own idea, but I think it makes a lot of sense if we start trying to make our life on a cinematic way, and then you share it on Instagram, or maybe you don't even have to share it. You just do it, and at the end you don't share it publicly. Maybe you start seeing that your life is not that boring. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, from my point of view, that's why I'm still doing this. Yes, sometimes it feels weird to see yourself on the screen. Yes, it feels weird to listen to your own voice. Yeah, sometimes you don't know what to do or how to act, and the equipment that you don't need much, regardless of a lot of people think. It feels weird, but sometimes it's kind of fun because you become more creative, and then you start seeing the things that you do, things that you think is not so common. You know what I mean? You just think about the boring stuff that you see at work, for example. We all have a work. Like Lewis Hamilton has a job, he drives cars. Michael Jordan used to be a basketball player. Messi is a football player, but that's a job. And as Cypress Hill said, it's a fun job, but still a job. For example, I saw an email just earlier that we are reaching the end of Q2. And then there are like all the bosses are checking the goals, the KPIs, and whatnot. But think about it. Unless you are a CFO or the CTO or the CEO or a big dog of one of these huge ass companies, what do you think will happen if you don't reach your goals? If you don't reach the KPIs, if you don't clear all these things that they ask you to do, what do you think will happen? Let me tell you, nothing will happen. And there is you. You always stress about pleasing your bosses, about, I don't know, doing all the things that you're supposed to do to reach certain things in your work, and at the end you don't get to them, and then you make it a big deal, but nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. It's like, uh, I mean, it sounds weird, and as I said, if you have goals and whatnot, you should try to get them, but to a certain point that is not detrimental to your own health or to your own life, because you should have some fun. You should have a, you should enjoy life a little bit. And then it comes back the point of the social media that you see everybody enjoying life and you are not. But think about end of Q2. What happened if you don't reach those KPIs? Nothing is going to happen. All these big corporations, they will still make money. If the day comes that they need to cut costs and they get rid of people, they just get rid of you as well. So yeah, I mean, just take it easy a little bit and choose your battles, because not many of them are worth taking. Anyway, let's come back to the significance of life. I was looking at YouTube at my buddy Johnny Harris, and he was explaining on a video that about 1% or so of the world population, or something like that, less than 5% of the whole population, basically own, I don't know, 80% of the world wealth. And then the rest, 95% of the rest of the population, we have, I mean, some people have nothing, or we just have little, or not too much, or just the minimum, or whatever. And that's kind of depressing, because then at the end, what does it mean? Anyway, don't despair. You know, their life is not just about money, says the poor person. You know what people say, that it's better to cry inside a mansion than cry under a bridge. Means money fix a lot of things. Maybe we need to try to achieve big things, but also we need to understand the game. If you think about power, and if power is what you want, then I guess this is not your podcast to listen to. But on the other hand, let's say that you want to have a very comfortable life. How much money you need to retire? I was putting some math behind it. And I think if you're able to work, let's say you are lucky to have a pretty good job that you like and that pays you well, and well enough that you can pay all your needs, have some fun, and still have some savings so you can do some investments. Not crazy investment, but some investment, make your money not lose, so much value just having it stored in the bank. But investing in something that helps you balance inflation and make you a little bit more money. So for that, you need to learn how to play the game. After some time, let's say, hopefully before you are not too old, between your savings and your investments, let's say that you have $2 million there. I know it's a big number for some people, but let's say that you have $2 million. For a lot of people like me, it sounds a lot of money. It sounds like it is a lot of money. But some other people, $2 million, that's what they make in one deal. That's what they make when they're, having a shower after running and playing golf with their buddies. And they say, yeah, let's close some deals. They make some calls and boom, that's what they make. Some of these guys, they make $100,000 in 1 month, in 1 day, easily, with their money investment in doing something. But do you need so much money to live? No, you don't need so much money. You don't need $150 million to retire and have a comfortable life. You can live with way less. So that's why I say 1 or 2 millions. Because at the end, let's say that you retire when you're about, let's say, 50, 60 year old. When I say retire, it's like you don't work for this boss that maybe you don't like, or in this corporation, this evil corporation that is taking all your time and your money and your effort. So you quit that company, but then you start doing things that you like that maybe give you some money. Let's say, for example, in my case, let's say in 10 years, I retire from working in in the company that I work with, but I have some savings and I have some investments. And because I know martial arts and I have been doing CrossFit, and let's say I open a CrossFit gym, and that just give me my daily money for eating and just paying bills. But on the background, I already have my investments. How frugal is your life? It will depend of how much money you save. But you want to have a quality of life. You need to have some able to pay some medical bills, because human body as machines is like a machine that it deteriorates as well. So you will need some sort of maintenance. But remember that you're not going to live, at least by today, 1st of July 2026, you're not going to live 100 and plus years, and that you want to drive drive cars and go to road trips to Iceland. Maybe if you retire about 55 and you're going to live, let's say, until 90, then you just have about, let's say, 30 years of money that you need. You don't need to worry too much. You don't need to, work your ass off until the day you die. But for that, you have to be smart. You have to be smart. You need to learn something that you can do. You can learn a lot of stuff online now that will give you some skills that AI will not replace. For example, personal trainers are not going to be replaced by any artificial intelligence. I mean, sure, you can put in your phone and your computer, they will give you a plan, but who will execute your plan? Who will come and scream to your ass to do things? You need a person to do that. The air conditioning breaks in your house. Who's going to fix that? There's no robots with artificial intelligence that they can come and check and say, you know, I think it's the thermostat that is broken. And then they come and change it with their hands. It doesn't exist yet. Is it going to exist in 20 years? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't see it happening. Same as you need mechanics. Also, I don't know. There's a lot of things that they need the human touch. I don't know how the robots in the future will be. I mean, if I see the ones on the Jetsons, this cartoon, very old cartoon, the robots look like robots and they don't look like humans. You know what I mean? And if you look Terminator, these killing machines, they look like humans. But anyway, the point is, you're not going to live forever either. So you don't need like hundreds of millions of dollars to retire. Then on the other side, if you want to leave something behind for mankind, leave a legacy to your kids or to the people around you to remember you, then that is not just about money. It's about you being I don't know, a role model, a good person, a leader. And it's not everything about money, but it is what it is. I mean, there is a lot of people who have brought a lot of advances to our society, like doctors and I don't know, astronauts. And talking about astronauts, have you seen this TV series from Apple TV called For All Mankind? It's pretty cool because the premise is started that they started with the NASA early projects to go to the moon or to do space exploration. But in different than on the reality on the TV series, they never stop after going to after the moon, so they just keep going, and there's always this fight between the Russians and the Americans. So they're mixing reality and the current events of the world in the 60s, 70s, and 80s and 90s to mix what the world should look if we have engaged into space exploration. That if you think about it, why did we stop? If we didn't stop the space exploration, we keep putting money and funds and ingenuity on trying to keep doing space exploration, we will have been way far now than we are with everything. I mean, you guys have seen what SpaceX have done with their rockets, and it's amazing. But we're still way, way, way behind compared to what we could have been if we never stopped. You know, it just makes sense, right? Why did we stop doing that? I don't know. I don't know. But the part of retiring, let's not make it like a anxiety issue. The point of this is just me basically talking, being part of the game, as Peter McKinnon saying, like I'm instead of me just being scrolling, I'm part of this fun stuff that we can do and share. So that's why I'm here. But it's also trying to say that you don't need to be so anxious about a lot of things. Yeah, we need to have a little bit of more control of our lives and seeing that things are not so serious all the time. I mean, you have to man up and put your shit together, but you need a balance. Anyway, it's not that life is meaningless, or maybe it is. I mean, if you see on the big universe of things, but no, it's not that your life is not meaningless. It's just that maybe don't let small things stop you for having fun and having a good life and trying to enjoy this small time that we have in this world. And you know why I'm thinking that? I'm closing now. I promise you guys. Because 2 days ago, I came back from Iceland and the scenery is amazing. And the amount of nature and how everything is so different, like from volcanic areas to waterfalls to greenery to glaciers. So the only thing that you can do, and I think is you even have to stop taking videos and photos. You just sit there and meditate, and it looks amazing. It looks like, I mean, in my head, I was like, I thought that these things, you just see them on the movies, right? We are, we are just like a small particle of dust in this humongous universe that, I mean, there's so much around you that you worry about the little things, and you're such a little thing in this everything. Wow. Yeah, sorry guys about this one. I think I just lost track of thoughts. Anyway, I will try to share with everyone some of the videos and pictures that I took from Iceland. Maybe I'm going to do like a more cinematic video, but I cannot do it not right now because I don't have a computer. And Cheryl took the other computer. So then I cannot start editing all the pictures and videos that I took from Iceland. So I promise I will do that in the coming weeks. And this is nice. This is nice therapy. I think I should do this more often. I mean, once a week, I think is more than enough. It takes a lot of my time. Okay. Anyway, bye.